Scott, good work. I want you to be careful when you get to the end to make sure that tip moves through the Vermont. Not 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2, 3. You see how your tip does not break the horizontal plane? Yeah, we have to have an ictus. What you did before was 1, 2, 3. Right, like that. Yeah, you didn't finish. And it's very, very, very common. Okay? Will made a quick observation that the color of that shirt and the color of that baton are almost identical, you know.
Count the baton, I'm like,
Yeah, he's looking through the cameras going, he can't, it's funny, it's disappeared. Just a reminder for everybody. Comments, players? How did you feel it went, Scott?
I was...
Yeah. Did you feel the first note from the group came exactly when you thought it was going to? Or was it early or late?
Didn't notice, to be honest.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. And that's a fair answer. When you watch your recording, take a look. I got the impression, now I'm, you know, a lot of times I'm reaching you guys, right? I mean, I'm trying to be upfront about that, and so that we have things to talk about. And if we ferret out something that you're feeling or hearing or seeing, and then that helps down the road, great. We're not talking about quote-unquote problems all the time or anything. But it seemed to me, I got the slightest impression that you gave that preparatory gesture and then gave 4 and kind of waited for the group before you moved on. I seemed like beat 4 took longer than beat 3. The tempo wasn't the same. And I inferred that if that's the case, this is another common issue. The sound is going to come a little bit after your ictus. There was someone else, we were having a bit of this discussion, I think after class on Friday, that conducting is leading, and you have to lead from in front. So this is something that lab ensemble experiences, and when you conduct near the end of the semester, later on, you'll have this experience, and sometimes it's a little disjarring, that you're actually not really with the group. If you're with the group, you're not leading. You know, you're not conducting.
And didn't you say that gap gets larger the more experience the ensemble gets? Like the difference between symphony
It can be. It can be. Not necessarily. You know, I mean, there are orchestras around the world that play way after the ictus. And I don't know why necessarily, but it's kind of become their thing. You know, different groups just evolve over decades into different common practices. It's not necessarily, you know, the orchestra that plays latest after the ictus is stronger than the one that plays closer to the ictus. It's just different. My favorite example is I was sitting with Dr. Steele about 6 or 7 years ago. The Marine Band came to play at Brady. And the Marine Band had their primary conductor and they had an assistant conductor. And the difference was night and day. The primary conductor was in front of everything. And the assistant conductor came out and he was just right on the ictus. I mean, you don't understand why. I mean, he's not the primary conductor. So you conduct the Marine Band, you're basically gonna take what they give you. Most of the time, that's gonna be absolutely first rate. So he was less in front of the group, and it happened 2 or 3 times where the assistant came out for a tune and then went away and then came back later and came out for a tune. And so he and I were sitting right together. I mean, by the 3rd time or something, we were really, you know, talking about it, going, wow, look at that. Look at how right on the ictus the band is with him as opposed to behind it where they are with the other guy, okay? So it's just a matter of leading or not leading, okay? And in the beginning here, it's hard to lead, okay? So if you felt like, and when you go back and look, if you feel like you see that too, that you sort of hesitate to wait for the note to catch up, I just want you to know what that may be. You understand? Okay? All right, we're going to move today. So we started where with the legato? It was